Hi everyone! For today's video I thought I would do a TBR list. I decided I was going to participate in Spookathon this year, which is basically just a week of reading like spooky, thrilling, creepy books. So I'm a total chicken, so none of the books on my TBR are super spooky, but some of them have some spookier, Halloween-y, darker elements to them. So I just thought I would let you guys know what I will be reading. So there are 5 challenges that you don't have to, but you should choose your books around. So the first challenge is a thriller novel. So my book isn't like a psychological thriller because that shit messes me up and I don't enjoy it. But this book that I have is kind of like a crime mystery thriller with supernatural elements. So this book that I have is The Voodoo Killings by Christy Cherish. I've read it before and I loved it. It's amazing. So I'm really excited to read it again. This is the perfect Halloween book. Perfect Halloween book. It is just phenomenal. It's dark, spooky, it's set in Seattle, and it just has that kind of gloomy feel to it throughout the whole novel, and there are some pretty dark elements in there as well, and just a whole lot's going on, so I'm really excited to reread this for the challenge. So the next challenge is a book that has a spooky word in it, and for that challenge I am also doing The Voodoo Killings because it has the word voodoo in it. So this will cover both of those challenges. The next challenge is a book that has a childhood fear in it. So whether it centers on the childhood fear or it has an element of it, and it could be obviously any childhood fear, everyone fears different things. So for my book that I chose, I did The Witches of New York by Amy McKay. And this is a proud Canadian, fellow Canadian, so I'm super excited to read it. I have, again, already read this one. Actually, I think I've read all of my books already except for one, but that's okay. I loved this book. I love witches, I love like witchcraft, so this is amazing. And it's set in New York, I love New York, and the story is just so awesome. Again, kind of like a thriller mystery element to it. It's not a thriller novel that I would call it, but it has kind of a certain element of that. And the childhood fear, I don't want to spoil it, so if you don't want any spoilers on this book, mute it now. But the spoiler, not really spoiler element, is that a fire happens in this book and it burns down a building, and that was my childhood fear, was that my house was going to burn down. Yeah, and I got that fear after attending the Safety Village in my hometown, so shout out to the Safety Village for instilling a fear of fire in me. So the next challenge is a book that has some orange in the cover. So the book that I chose, which can basically cover every single challenge if I really want it to, is Edgar Allan Poe's Selected Tales and Poems. And I have read some of his tales before. I've read a couple stories in university. I remember I was first exposed to him in grade 9 when my English teacher read The Raven. So I'm really excited to just kind of read this. This will be a super quick read, I'm hoping. The font's decently large and it's just certain kind of tales, so they're all of his work is like really short, and I really like that it's kind of darker and a little bit more mysterious, and there is kind of like a psychological element to most of his work, but not to the extent that you think, like you become paranoid and think that somebody is out to kill you. So I really like this. So yeah, basically this like covers every single challenge in this readathon, and obviously it has red in it and it has a crow on the cover, How Halloweeny is that? So the last book that I have for this challenge is again a story or a collection of short stories, and that is The Last Witch by Andrzej Sapkowski. And this is part of the Witcher series. It's one of the collections of stories before the actual series takes place. So I have read this one before. I read all the Witcher novels except for the newest one that just came out this year. So this one, it's kind of like fairy tale retellings, which is really, really cool. But the way Andrzej does it is that it has an element of Polish fairy tales in there as well. So everything is a little bit darker. Some of the fairy tales are based off of Polish fairy tales. So even though they might be typical Grimm fairy tales, they have a Polish element to them. And all of it takes place in this like kingdom that's just rife with like war and conflict, and it's a really, really dark kingdom and a really, really dark setting. So that's kind of like the spooky setting, is this darker tone, because even though they're fairy tales, a lot of it has a really dark undertone to it and takes place in some pretty creepy, spooky places. So this is my story for the spooky settings. Okay everyone, so that was it. I'm going to be filming a vlog for the Spookathon TBR, for the Spookathon readathon. I'm not going to be doing daily vlogs just because my life is very boring and I don't know if I would have enough content for daily vlogs. But I'm going to film for the week and then I will upload the vlog next week for you guys so you can see how I did. And I only have 4 books and I've read all of them again, like I said, like except for Edgar Allan Poe, so I'm hoping to be able to read them all and have a very spooky week. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. So if you guys have any ideas for future videos, or if you have any books that you would like me to read and review, please let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye!